So this exposing scams on Rogan.
By now, a lot of you know my secret since the photos have been leaking online. Yes, I am terribly short in real life. Now, throw your stones if you must in the comment section, but your words will not hurt me because I am a small target. Now, of course, the real secret is obviously that I went on Joe Rogan, did about a 3-hour podcast, and I didn't want to say anything when we were setting it up a couple months ago because the whole time I'm thinking there's been an error. You know, this guy has to have famous people to talk to or important people maybe, but sure enough, it happened. And yeah, I just wanted to take a moment to highlight my 3 favorite moments from the experience, starting with the Logan Paul and CryptoZoo part we got to talk about. So obviously most people know that Logan Paul promised to refund the victims, but the behind the scenes information, which I haven't talked about, is that he hasn't actually paid anyone yet. He hasn't even said a word to his community since January when he got in trouble. And it's just been really frustrating to watch because, frankly, I'm tired of talking about Logan. But many of these people are helplessly waiting and begging for Logan to respond to them, and they've been getting nothing. So I followed up with Logan privately twice about the lack of refunds and heard nothing. I got left unread. So I finally decided to make it public. Enjoy. You told everyone it was going to make them money, and then you never delivered anything. So my story was basically showing the victims of the scheme, and then in response, he's like, well, I'm going to sue you for that.
He said he's going to sue you.
Yeah, he said, I'll see you in court. And then the backlash against him was so severe that he releases a video saying, thank you, Coffeezilla, for showing the world what happened. And I appreciate it. I responded out of anger. But I'm going to make things right. I'm going to fix the game to what it was supposed to be, and I'm going to pay back $1.7 million. I'm committing $1.7 million to anyone who bought an NFT can get a refund. Now, there's a bit of an issue with that. So that's nice. I actually think it's great that that happened, but there's 2 issues with it. Number one, which is that the NFTs were only half, a small part of the sale. They actually weren't even half. Because people bought these tokens. So the people who bought tokens get nothing. He's offering, this refund on the NFTs. The other problem is he hasn't refunded the NFTs. It's been like over a month since he's done this. So he said he's going to do it. And then the Discord, he's posting in this little chat room with the investors. After he said he was going to do it, he's posted nothing. There's no way to get a refund right now. So I keep asking him like, hey, you promised 1.7 million to these investors. They're all waiting. It's been over, I think it's almost been 2 months now, and there's nothing. So it's like, he says that he's refunding people, which sounds great for PR, and then it's just like radio silence. So my experience, because I've talked to Logan, and that's why I know he didn't respond to me, because I texted him. I said, hey, where's this money? He left me on red. But I've talked to him, and when I talk to him, there's just sort of this feeling of, he's like, I just don't want to think about this. Like, I don't want to be, he wants to focus on Prime, which is successful. He doesn't want to be bothered with the victims of the scheme that he ultimately thought of in the first place.
Is it possible that he's just gathering the money or working out a way to do it legally where it makes sense?
It's very frustrating because, at every turn, it's just sort of like, it is, I want to say it's possible. We just don't know. And it's just sort of like, when you promise people refunds, like the longer you wait, the less people are actually going to take that refund. If Walmart says, hey, bring in this skull, I'll give you a refund. And you're like, all right, when can I bring it in? And they don't respond to you for 2 months. They know that you're less likely to actually take the refund. So I don't know if he's doing it because he wants less people to get the refund. He probably is busy, but my thought is a transgression of this magnitude where you're playing with people's money and livelihoods, you cannot take it lightly. And that's one of the things is these influencers got into this crypto space. I don't think they fully appreciate it. They're now dealing with financial investments, and it's not a joke. It's not like a brand deal where, if NordVPN isn't as great as they said it was, it's all cool.
Right.
It's your company, and you promise people you're going to make the money, and now you haven't said anything for over a year. Then you say you're going to refund them, and you don't say anything for 2 months. That's an issue. So that's my favorite segment from the show. I just think it's so important to hold these people accountable. And the second moment I wanted to talk about was talking about AI and deepfake scams, which is something I'm concerned about, but I haven't gotten the chance to talk about too much just recently one went viral using Joe Rogan, and I wanted to get his response to it after I'd done some research. Here's a clip of the deepfake scam and his reaction to it. And the AI stuff's scary because ultimately you'll get the AI deep faking you into, you know.
This is
Yeah, there's
bigger
one of me. There's one of
nowadays.
me and Andrew Huberman selling some supplement that's not real.
Right. Yeah. Alpha.
I don't know if the supplement's real, but I
Yeah.
know that the commercial's certainly
Yeah,
not
it's
real.
kind of
See,
scary.
Andrew, look, Alpha Gride's only been out for 2 months, but if you go to Amazon and you search testosterone booster for men, Amazon already has it at the top of the search ranking.
Yeah, they deep faked you, and I think it went viral on Twitter for a bit. I
Yeah, well,
saw
everybody
it.
knew it was a deep fake, luckily. And
It wasn't quite good enough.
yeah, and then, we tried to
the
figure
voice is
out
pretty
who's
similar.
doing it, and you just run into a bunch of shells. It's like very difficult
I'll
to
tell you
figure out.
offline who's doing it.
Okay.
I know. I looked into it because I was curious.
Oh,
I was
okay.
curious. And, that same person had put out a lot of ads about, like, Kim Kardashian. They had deep fake of Kim.
Okay, so I'm going to share Pete's secret for his feedy.
They had one of you saying that, like, so they have one of you saying, like, this product's great, go buy it. And then there's another one where you were complaining that Andrew Tate launched it, and you thought you were sort of like, Andrew Tate's going after my brand.
Andrew Tate made this competing product to Alpha Brain. He called it Alpha Grind, and it's a coffee with some nootropic and test boosting ingredients in there. And I'm not sure if that was a slight at me for some of the past comments I had made. But
Glazing.
I will say I'm impressed with the formula. I respect what he's doing, and all around, I guess just hats off. Although I wish he wasn't competing with me.
It was kind of this hilarious thing where they were playing both sides. It's like, it's Joe Rogan's. It's also
Wow.
Joe Rogan hates that it's out there because it's so good. Then it's like Kim Kardashian loves it. They had every celebrity was like basically endorsing this thing all through AI, and it's just the testament of our times. Like, celebrities are the new sort of authorities for better and often for worse. But people use that as currency now, and like with AI, you can just like fake a lot of that stuff.
That's what I'm worried about, is the volley. I feel like this is the very first volley in a war on reality.
This is a weird experience showing the person who was used in the fake ad, like the fake ad. But something I actually forgot to mention in the show, which I think makes it 10 times worse, is that the person who sells this Alpha Grind product and uses these AI scams goes by the name of Genius CEO, and he sells a course on selling on Amazon. So it's not just preposterous that he uses it to sell the product itself. He then brags about it online, where these products are getting sold by AI scams.
On Amazon.
And then he sells a course, I guess, on how to do the same thing.
Let me tell you a story of how I made $300K in 2 months. And yes, there is some artificial intelligence in this story.
Very strange. I forgot to mention it, and I just wanted to correct that. And I also want to say this technology is only going to get more creepy. So yeah, the future, it's not great. Now, the final part of the show I wanted to highlight is a Celsius rant, which if you haven't seen that video, you can go check it out right now. But it's just also a rant about scams in general, and it really sums up a lot of my thinking lately. Just the problem of these scams being under-prosecuted criminally. And I hope you enjoy.
I watched the Celsius video that you put out recently, and I watched it today, and I was like, this is so valuable, because I'm seeing all these people, because you showed those people that did get scammed and the people that get fucked over by this guy who created this thing. And, they have a voice now. And you can also, like, let all these other motherfuckers that are trying to do something like that know that Coffeezilla's out there. And he's going to find you, and he's going to put you on blast, and people are going to know, and it's going to be more difficult for the next person. Again, it's not the wealthy investors that will sue. It's these people that put in $2,000, and it was the only $2,000 they had. That's where it's so valuable, and I know that you feel that way, and it comes through in your video. And I think that's why it's appealing, and that's why it's working.
I really discovered early on that nobody cares about the numbers. The numbers are like the headline or whatever, but ultimately you can't make this stuff doesn't matter until you get people involved.
Yeah.
Until you hear the victims talk. They're the heartbeat of everything. Because until you hear that, like, what's $1
And
billion?
really
It's
emotions.
impossible to
It's
know.
yeah.
And it's not, and then you watch the guy and you're like, who would fall for this? You know, like it's easy to get cynical if you just see the numbers and the guy who defrauded people.
Yeah.
The second you humanize it and you show a person, and all of a sudden you see someone with all the same problems, and you can just tell, you can see it in their eyes, and they're just wrecked by this guy who truly they believed in. It's like the biggest
Yes.
betrayal. You trusted somebody with everything, and then they stab you in the back. Like this Alex Mashinsky, CEO of Celsius, his whole thing was banks are evil, which is not crazy. I mean, it's like, you know, you can understand why a lot of people resonated with that. They're like, and it wasn't even
I don't
they're
want to say
evil.
they're heartless.
Yeah. Sorry, I was going to correct that. He said like they're greedy,
Yeah. Oh.
and that's true. Like it's like
And he's not.
Yeah. He goes like, banks are not your friends. True statement, Alex. And then this interviewer's like, but Alex is your friend? And he's like, yeah. He's like, you basically, you can take the same ride as me, 8%, 8% a year. I'll just give it to you. You know, we're doing the same thing as the banks. We're loaning out your money, but we're going to pass on 80% of the revenue back to you instead of the banks, which they take all your money, right? So people bought into that. They said, that sounds great. Like hey, the internet changed everything. You know, we think crypto is going to change everything. Why not have a bank that instead of serving its shareholders, it serves its customers? It kind of like there's something that makes sense there. It's really compelling. And then come to find out, Celsius was never making money. They said they were paying out, you know, you with their profits. They were paying out you with new deposits. Like new people were coming in and they were paying you out. And so it was this giant Ponzi scheme where they set the rewards because they knew if it's high enough, people are just going to flock to them. And so, but they had this compelling explanation for why, like it kind of made a little bit of sense. And then when it finally goes wrong, he just walks away. I mean, yeah, he's getting sued civilly, but where's the criminal action? He's going to go to jail? Probably not. And it's like, that is so messed up. That itself is a crime. I think it's so sick that we throw the book at people who will rob a store with a gun, right? Steal $10,000. People who steal millions, billions of dollars often get away with it because it's just done a little differently. There's not the drama of the gun and somebody's even no one gets shot. It's just he pushed a few pencils around. He got you to sign a few shady, but that's just as sick and twisted. But it's just done in a way that socially is slightly more acceptable, and they get away with it way more often. But I would contend that these people are literally financially murdering people. After Celsius, people committed because of, I mean, literally, it's a fact. People committed suicide because they lost everything.
I'm sure FTX as well.
Of course. You know, the bigger the scam, there's just statistically, it almost becomes impossible that you don't at least, if not financially, sort of metaphorically murdering a family, you literally kill somebody. And people walk away with not like either only the guy at the top goes down or nobody goes down. And that is crazy to me. It's like, what message are we sending via our regulators? Basically, it's like, hey, you're going to get a slap on the wrist if you're caught.
And what you just did, is why you're so successful. That's real. This is how you really feel. This is and this is why your show works. This is it right there. Like what you just did is why I'm interested in your show. Because this is your real thoughts and opinions.
Something has to change.
Yes.
I mean, something has to change where you can't just go on like this, where if we're really going to allow, if we're going to take our financial future in our own hands, we're going to allow these influencers to talk about finance, somebody has to be there when things go wrong.
Yes.
And there has to be consequences. If you lie and if you cheat and you steal, there has to be a guy at the end of the day who's going to put you in trouble. And I think a YouTube video is not nearly enough. This is why I'm constantly saying, like, hey, can someone from the government get involved? Like, go lock this guy up. Go lock somebody. You know, I know it's like a lot of this is new, like the crypto stuff is new, but they're doing old crimes in a new way.
Yes.
It's always been illegal to steal people's money.
Yes.
And that is what's happening. And that's why I put these people on my show. So you don't think it's some like rug pull where it's all fake money. No, there was real money in these companies and they just stole it a new way, but they're still stealing money. And the fact that we haven't found a way to put some of these people in jail is mind-blowing to me. And we're sending a bad message that, hey, just keep doing it. Just go start a new one. There are people now they were trying to start GTX after FTX.
Oh,
some
boy.
new guys were trying to start the new
boy.
thing,
And then
it's like
HTX is next.
Yeah,
Jesus
it's just
Christ.
it's just like, you know,
Scotland.
you have to. That's half the purpose of the law is to. It's partly, you know, for, you know, you did something wrong, you get punished, but also part of it is you do something wrong, you send a message to you socially signal that we do not tolerate this. And right now, the social signal we're sending and accepting is, if you scam, there's a very high likelihood you will get away with it. And if you don't get away with it, you'll get a little slap on the wrist. You get a little fine. And that's not working.
No, it's not.
Well, that's it. In all seriousness, it was a surreal moment, a very cool one. And I just appreciate you all getting me this far. Thank you for watching. And even more than that, thank you for caring about these scams. Ultimately, I think we're shining a light on a really important issue. And I'm just grateful that anyone pays attention. So, yeah. Thank you.
You have to keep it on the online world, like scams everywhere. It's absolutely chaos to it. It's too good to be true.